Hi guys, Ian here. The release of the club is a really big topic. You could write 1,000 books on it, but today what I want to try and explain is what makes the club release and the motion that you can apply to your golf swing in order to get a more consistent and powerful release of the club head through the ball. And as ever, if you like the content that I'm producing and you want to get reminders when I release my next video, then hit the subscribe button and that'd be really appreciated. So one of the key points I want to discuss here is if we look at how the club wants to actually come back. Now I'm talking about we've set our wrists in the backswing, so we've loaded more power into our backswing. Doesn't matter if it's a full swing or a half swing, 3/4 swing, but we've added on this setting of the wrist. We've added on power on purpose because we want to try and hit the ball further. But it's trying to understand how that then unloads and puts all the energy into the ball, giving us more power and probably more importantly, more consistency. Be very wary that we're stood here, our target is somewhere out there, and what I see a lot of my pupils doing, or a lot of golfers tend to do, is they try to swing toward the target. So there's a motion toward the target. Now in order for the club to release more naturally, the swing must go upwards on the circle that it wants to go on. And this is what creates the automatic release of the club. The club, ironically, we're trying to swing down and through the ball, but at the same time, what causes this club to release automatically is actually the motion on the through swing where we start upwards. You may have seen a lot of videos about, trying to stand up through the ball. Don't really buy into that fully, but it does gel in with what I'm saying here today, is that as the club or your swing starts its upward motion is when the club wants to catch up. So that's applying maximum force where we want it into the golf ball. Now if I swing toward, or the feeling is I'm going to guide the club and try and guide the shot, and there's movement that way, then it actually prohibits the actual release of the club. So the key here is the club will release when you're starting your upward motion. Now of course we don't want an upward motion here because the club will want to release too soon. So there's timing involved with this. This isn't some kind of miracle quick fix. I mean, I wish it was, obviously. If it was, I probably wouldn't be giving you the secret. Keep it to myself and go and be #1 in the world for the next 10 years. However, it's not quite that simple. When we go through, if there's this motion, the club really wants to release now, because the club is always trying to catch up with us, or we should be swinging in such a fashion whereby the club is wanting to catch up with what we're doing, not the club is past us and we're trying to catch up with the club. Now if you keep it simple in your mind, that we're basing it pretty much on circles. So the key here is to understand, if you like, a little bit of the physics. So if we look at a simple sort of pendulum action, the club's going like a grandfather clock, just a pendulum action, and I can help it along a little bit more. That's fine. It's going to be a consistent circular motion, and then if that was the golf swing, we'd place the ball in the correct position and the club would clip the ball away every time. Now if I then tried to swing towards the target, trying to sort of guide the club and the shot, then this end would have to move this way. So if I do this and then I move this way, the release or the catching up mechanism or the physics of it has moved the release, or where it's catching up, to after the impact position, or where the ball was. So the ball would be here and it would clip it away. As soon as I do that, well actually it wouldn't have even contacted the ball because it was too high. And we sometimes do this with our golf swings. We tend to get here. I see people practicing sort of a bit of a pendulum action with their left arm, but rather than it swinging upwards and then the club is trying to overtake and catch up, which is what we want, it's actually this motion. And you can see how the club's sort of almost decelerating and putting a bit of a brake on the actual release of the club, the natural release, the natural physics that occur in everyday life. So up, I'm not standing up, I'm not trying to cut corners, but it's down and up. It's not up because you get your release too soon here. Just like the pendulum, you can see how it released too soon. If we go down, that's fine, but it then has to come up to cause the acceleration. So we come down toward the ball and then up into our finish. And it's that up that makes the club catch up. So try it. You can do it with one arm. That's incorrect because there's an element of that. This would be incorrect. Even with my right arm, trail arm, it's up. And I can put my lead arm on quite comfortably. If I have this motion, I can't get my trail arm onto the club. I can't get my grip on. So there has to be an upward motion, and this upward motion is what naturally makes the club catch up. So you're creating maximum club head speed for your build and your ability and etc, etc. So up, not down and away, because that's just decelerating the club. So we're not trying to go round here. That's just nonsense. We're not trying to go low and left. That just isn't going to work. That's really just trying to change that pendulum by trying to drag it left. And you can see again, there's almost this motion. And we don't want that. We want this circular motion. But there's so much in our minds about, do I go in straight? Am I going a little bit outside the line? Really, if your circle is functioning really well, it doesn't really affect the strike of the ball, because your beautiful swing could be on the hula hoop, the circle there, and it would just go left. There, it would go right. And you'd tinker a little bit to get that circle on this view in the correct position. But from this view, we need this motion. We've gone up. We're going to come down, and now it's got to go up on the other side. I think you'll find this is quite logical. I guarantee it will help you, but you will need to practice it. You will need to practice it, but just maybe sometimes just hold your finish and you think, well, I've gone this way. Why am I going that way? And it's almost a natural human instinct. The ball's here and we want it to go there, but it's up on the circle. Up, down, up. Just like here, this is going up, coming down, it will go up. It's no different when we swing. This is obviously much easier to do if we were hitting the ball just like that, just playing little 10-yard chip shots, but that's quite simple. But as soon as we start moving the upper part, it changes the reaction of the club head. Go and give it a try. Let me know in the comments. It's quite an interesting one. Swing up. Yes, you're hitting down and through, but you're coming up to create the power. And as ever, if you like the content, give it a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, etc., etc. And until next time, thanks very much for watching.